And this session will be moderated by Mr. David Lim.
Thank you.
Over to you, gentlemen.
Good morning, YB.
Good morning. Good morning, David. Good morning, everyone.
Well, first of all, welcome to AI Unplugged.
Yeah.
We are really honored to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Perhaps we can start with YB saying a few words to the audience first.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you, ACCCIM, for having me here. And I think this is a very important conference where we are looking at future. In fact, it is a growing technology that would help our country to advance into AI-savvy nation.
Excellent. So YB, I understand that your background is actually in engineering.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
So
Civil engineering.
So how has that helped you in your daily life, and especially as the Minister of MOSTI?
Thank you. It's a very common question that everybody asks. In fact, engineering, I would say the science background is more instrumental, in fact, for me to understand my ministry better. And in fact, if you say engineering, how engineering training helps, I would say because engineering is about problem solving. So all engineers are trained like that, you see. We have a problem, we try to break it down, and then we try to solve it scientifically. So I think that is how my engineering background helped for me to make better decision in my ministry.
Speaking of scientifically, I actually saw a video before you saying that you don't simply buy gifts for your children. In fact, when you buy some gifts, it has to be scientific as well. Is that correct?
Did I? I didn't know.
I see, sure. So like what Tan Sri was saying just now, when ChatGPT took over the world by storm, and people were really amazed by what it can do, right? So for you, YB, what surprised you most about ChatGPT? And I think everyone here is also curious that whether the government will integrate ChatGPT into public services.
In fact, I was amazed too. I mean, when I first saw this new technology called the ChatGPT, and I'm looking at the human angle. You see, usually when you talk about AI technology, it'll be very rigid, or sometimes might be useful, but it's always lack of the human part of it. But surprisingly, this ChatGPT has this very humane angle, humane perspective, and they can it can give you a human perspective, human language. So if your text is derived by ChatGPT, you can't even differentiate whether it is derived by the machine or it is written by a human. So I think that is very amazing, but also sometimes can be scary. So that is how I look at ChatGPT. In terms of integrating it into government services, well, we haven't, but I can see there are a lot of potential in it. And the first thing that comes into my mind is, of course, handling these government queries, because now we allocated quite substantial resources to handle all these queries. So I think if we train ChatGPT enough, because it has learning ability, so I think we can integrate it into the government services.
Right, I see. Well, I think what ChatGPT has done is that it made a lot of people curious about AI, in fact. Right? Just like during the COVID times, everyone just went digital. So ever since ChatGPT, everyone is going to AI. And speaking of AI, just like the previous industrial revolution, it is here to modernize the country. So obviously the next question would be, do we have a national AI strategy in place for Malaysia?
Yes, in fact, we have this national AI roadmap, and it's a very comprehensive roadmap. And in that roadmap, we have outlined a few initiatives. Basically, what are the goals to achieve? I would say one of it is, of course, to drive AI innovation, because AI is a technology, it's an enabler. But if we are not innovative enough, then we might not utilize it to its fullest potential. So to drive AI innovation. Secondly is to build a robust ecosystem, AI ecosystem. I mean, for every technology, we need an ecosystem, a complete or a robust ecosystem. And thirdly is we hope we can give enough training to talent in terms of this AI technology, because we can see it is the way forward, but unfortunately we do not have enough talent. So if we want to grow to an AI savvy nation, we need to have enough talent. So in that roadmap, we talk about how industry, academia, and also the government should work together hand in hand to train AI talent. So we have one, and you can access it on our webpage, Mosty website. AI roadmap, national AI roadmap.
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that we have a solid plan in the picture.
Oh, sorry. The other one, besides all these technological advancement and also this ecosystem, we are also looking at how we could use AI ethically, because well, when we attend international conferences, there are a lot of concern about how to use AI ethically. So that is also one of the goals that we would like to achieve in our AI roadmap.
Right. I think AI ethics, AI principles, in fact, is a big topic now, I think especially in the West and in the EU. And that's a topic later on we'll touch on. But obviously, from a business perspective, when it comes to national AI strategy, businesses will only ask one question: what is the ROI, right? So let's say if we implement this national AI strategy, how much does it contribute to the economy, and how many new job opportunities will this strategy create?
Well, yeah, I do not have an accurate figures, but of course, as you mentioned, it's a $1 trillion industry, and also I foresee there will be hundreds of thousands of new job opportunities. Well, when we have this common perception that AI will take over humans' job, but in the contrary, I would say AI will not take over human job. Of course, it will take over some labor-intensive or jobs that even we don't want to do. You see, we are outsourcing it to foreign workers. So those are the jobs that AI is taking over, but AI is creating more new job opportunities. So when we implement or when we use AI in our any industry, we need people to control the system. So we need talent, or we need workers to control and also maintain the system. To me, it's just that we need different skill set. So retraining, capacity building is very important. So AI is not really taking over our job. In fact, society always have this anxiety whenever there's a new technology which is disruptive, like AI. People tend to have this anxiety that this technology will take over my job. But in fact, it is not. You see, if we look at the Industrial Revolution, when we first saw this steam engine, so everybody is thinking about, wow, this automation is going to take over my job, and we'll lose job. But whenever there is disruptive technology, we'll see slowly but surely we will adapt to it, and you can see a lot of new job opportunities in that industry. So, well, I would just like to tell you all, don't worry. I mean, AI is the way forward, just that we need to ensure that our workers or our workforce will have enough skill set to handle the new situation.
Right, so retraining and reskilling will be the path in terms of moving up the value chain. I see. Again, I would like to touch on ROI as well, because majority of the crowd are businesses. So when you have a national AI strategy in place, obviously there are a couple of industries you will look at as well. So my question is, from government's perspective, what are the top priority industries will the government go in and deploy AI tools?
Well, as a government, I mean, we don't say top priority. I don't want to antagonize or step on other people's toe. But I can see there are potential industry or potential line that will use AI immensely. First of all, manufacturing, of course. And other than that, we have this. I mean, as a government, we really hope that AI can be implemented in most of the industries, including traditional industries like agriculture, because agriculture is very important for us, especially we are facing this food security. So I would say besides manufacturing, I also think that agriculture is another sector that we need to encourage more adoption of AI technology. So in helping us to increase productivity, helping us to better control yield, etc. So agriculture is the sector that I think we need to adopt more AI technology.
I think agri-tech is a really big thing now in the region, and is particularly useful for the rakyat as well in general and helping the B40. So still on this part, how can the industry work with MOSTI on this?
To work with MOSTI? Well,
yes.
I think MOSTI is very open to work with industry, and I think this is the way forward, you see. Before this, everybody is working in silo. Government is working in silo, industry is working in silo, and the academia, they are working in silo. So I think we need to connect all the dots, and we are very open to work with everybody. To work with MOSTI, I think you can have access to better funding opportunity. Well, having said that, resources is always scarce. So we have limited fund, but we hope we could fund more competitive or competent industry where we can have a good showcase of success. We need to have more success story. So that is how we fund industry. But besides these funding opportunities, working with MOSTI also, you can have more access to cutting-edge research, cutting-edge technology research, because we are working closely with the academia. And also under MOSTI, we have this ASM, Academy Sciences of Malaysia. And besides funding opportunities, besides access to cutting-edge technology research, we can also provide expert guidance in terms of technology adoption. So those are the things that we can work together.
Right, excellent. So again, with AI is definitely one of the most promising technologies of the century. And we all know that with progress comes disruption. So I would also like to ask Ivy, which industry do you think is highly likely to go through disruption? Which industry?
Again, you're asking me which industry. Well, I would say traditional industry, because in many of these traditional industry, okay, just now I mentioned about agriculture, so I use agriculture as an example. So agriculture is quite a traditional industry, and it uses a lot of manpower for the time being. So say an acre of land, maybe you need a few workers for you to grow food, you see. But if you use AI, then the demand for labor-intensive job will decrease. But the demand for higher skilled worker will increase. So I think if a traditional industry like agriculture could adopt this AI technology, definitely you will see a lot of disruption, and people might not be used to it. But I will say surely it will help this industry, and it will help us in many ways, not only in terms of yield, not only in terms of productivity and also disease resistance, but also in terms of manpower management. So I would say those industries will face most disruption. Yeah.
Speaking of manpower, that's definitely a very crucial part in AI, because ultimately it's about talents. And we understand that in Malaysia especially, there's a shortage of talents, because AI is a very new thing. Hence, there's a shortage in AI talents. Do you think we will open up the market to foreign talents?
Well, for the time being, yes. Because as we know, AI is still very new in Malaysia, and we are trying very hard, not only the government side, but also the academia and also the industry. We are trying very hard to groom more talent, especially in this AI field. But unfortunately, we know it is not enough. So we are quite open at this stage to let foreign talent to have access into our market. But at the same time, we need to really grow our own local talent, because we can't be depending too much on foreign talent. But as of now, we need to facilitate easy passage for foreign talent. So we have this Bermuda under the Ministry of Economy to help facilitating this foreign talent. But as I say, and I would like to reiterate that it is very, very important for us to groom our own talent, our own local talent. Although technology, I know, is rather borderless, but if we want to be a AI-savvy or high-tech nation, we need to really groom our own local talent.
For these talents, right, how can the industry, especially industry and academia, work with mostly on this?
Well, we have a number of initiatives of capacity building. We work with industry, we work with academia. So I think if possible, after this conference, we can have a few more sessions, round table or town hall, to come up with, just to come up with better ideas how to work better. They are existing initiatives, but we need to have a more concerted effort in terms of doing this capacity building. In fact, in my town hall with my staff in the ministry, I've already I've already said a few focus area that I would like to focus in. I say precise. Precise is an acronym of all my focus areas. So what is precise? First, people-centric. So I want technology to be people-centric. So no point talking about cutting-edge technology, but people have no access to it. So people-centric is important. R is R&D, of course, for technology advancement. E is enculturation, how we promote science, technology, especially STEM education to our kids. C is capacity building. And of course, it's not limited only to AI, but also to other technology. But capacity building is very important, especially we are in this science technology community. So we know sciences, technologies advance very, very fast. So we need to really train our people, train our nation to be more tech savvy. So the capacity building is one of my focus areas in the ministry.
So maybe your direction is very precise indeed.
Yeah.
Very precise.
Sorry, let me finish the ISE. I is investment, technology-related investment, and SE is the startup ecosystem. So just for your information.
Right, precise. Okay. Think precise, think mostly. Yeah. Think mostly, think precise. So coming back to the topic we touched just now about regulations, ethics and regulations. In the EU now, regulation has indeed become legislation, right? So now they want us to actually follow this standard called the AI-EU Act. But the Asian countries are taking a wait-and-see approach because one of the reasons is strict rules will kill innovation. So I want to ask YB, what is your view on this?
In fact, we need to think of a way and we need to look at it very closely because even the Europe countries, they are not very sure about it. I had the opportunity to attend a conference in Barcelona, and we discuss about this AI ethics and also rules and regulation with my counterparts. In fact, even European countries, they are not so sure. We try to develop a standard, but as you pointed out rightly just now, I mean, we need to look at our context also. For instance, AI in Malaysia is at the very beginning stage. Of course, we can see some concern, for instance, ethics, but we can't have too rigid framework or too rigid regulations that can stifle innovation, that can impede AI innovation. So we need to be very careful. But of course, in our national AI roadmap, we have this framework also, how to use AI ethically. So for the moment, for the time being, I think we have no plan to legislate, but we keep an eye very closely so that whenever there is a need, we'll do it. Because now we are also discussing with experts and also industry players. So if there is a need, then we'll do it. So no worries. For the time being, not yet.
I'm really glad to hear that. I believe all the AI players here are very happy to hear that as well, maybe. So we have discussed national AI strategy. We have talked about talents. We've discussed the possible areas of disruption, opportunities, and the most important thing is money, funding, right? So we have all things in place now, Ivy. So my last question is money. Innovation, ultimately funding will drive research, and research will drive innovation. I understand that maybe our funding is actually on a downward trend, right? Would this issue be addressed in the next budget?
When you say downward trend, that is on the GERD, is it? The gross expenditure
Yes.
on R&D. Yeah, if you look at the current numbers, well, you see a very bleak picture. We are spending barely 1% of our GDP, barely 1% of our GDP on R&D. But we have acknowledged this problem, and we are going to increase it. And in fact, the Prime Minister himself in the cabinet has committed that he is going to increase it. And for your information, the Prime Minister is also the Minister of Finance. So when he said yes, that's mean yes. And we are trying to increase this GERD by establishing this MSE, Malaysia Science Endowment. We are looking at raising 2 billion, fund of 2 billion ringgit, and with that fund, we can have more resources in R&D. And in fact, if you listen to our just recently launched Economy Madani, there will be an additional 100 million to be spent in this R&D. And in fact, it's quite significant because in the last budget, Malaysia government only allocated 428 million ringgit in R&D. Now additional 100 million. So this is to show the government's commitment in this increasing resources in R&D. And in fact, if you look at other countries, investing in R&D is always right. Investing in R&D, it will always bear fruit. For instance, Korea, they are so advanced, but you know how much they invest in their R&D? They invest 4.55% of their GDP. Malaysia, hardly 1%. So we need to improve in this sense. And the good thing is, the government is committed to improve. Now it's barely 1%, but by 2030, we hope we can achieve 3.5% of gross expenditure in R&D. Yeah.
Well, that's a very exciting news. That's a big jump. So thank you very much. Well, YB, before we conclude the session, is there any advice or is there anything at all you would like to share with the audience?
Keep up the good work, and don't always rely on government funding entirely. AI is a very highly potential technology or industry, and I think outside of the government, the private sector, and also even foreign VCs, there are a lot of fund managers that will be very interested in investing in AI, especially in a pioneer market like Malaysia. So grab that opportunity. Of course, we are not pushing our responsibility away. We will still fund if there are good companies or good startups related to AI. But my advice is don't rely entirely on government funding because, as I say, government funding is scarce, is very scarce and limited, and we need to be very selective. So although you might be good, but if you are not the best, we can't fund because we need to be responsible also. It's taxpayers' money. But don't worry, I can see bright future in AI industry, and definitely, I think definitely government will use a lot of AI technology in nearest time to come. So please don't forget to grab this opportunity, and the government mostly will also help our local companies like Wise AI. So please register yourself with us because we just launched this My STI, which is an initiative for us to help local tech company, not limited to AI, any company that is technology related, startups, register with us. We will do a technology due diligence, And then once it is done, you get a logo. And your company name will be in the inventory list. And with that list of companies will be given priority in government procurement. So grab this opportunity. This is how we try to help our local technology startup besides funding. So thank you very much.
YB, once again, thank you very much for being with us. We wish you all the best, and we look forward to your plans in making Malaysia an AI nation. Thank you very much. A round of applause for YB.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Berhormat Tuan Cheng and David, for the wonderful session. And please remain on stage here together with us as we would like to present a token of appreciation, a memento to Yang Berhormat Tuan Cheng. And with that, please allow me to welcome a presenter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Yang Berhormat Senator Tan Sri Dato' Loh Kian Chuan, the President of ACCCIM, to join us on stage and present the memento to Yang Berhormat Tuan Cheng Kang. Once again, Yang Berhormat Tuan Cheng Kang, thank you so much for joining us here and supporting this beautiful event. Thank you. All right. And we hope you like this memento. Thank you very much. And now, gentlemen, please remain on stage with us because we would like to have more amazing men to join us on stage for photo opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to welcome Dato' Technologies Dr. Muhammad Noor Asman bin Hassan, Dato' Ng Yi Ping, Dato' Lui Heng Ting. Let's welcome Dato' Tan Tian Ming, Dato' Kun Ling Lung, and in Senior Professor Dato' Dr. Yu Hong Tat to join Yang Berhormat Tuan Cheng Kang together with our presidents on stage for a group picture. Lovely picture capture. And here, gentlemen, please remain on stage with us as we would like to create a bigger picture here. So right here, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite all our sponsors to join us on stage for a group photo. For this, please allow me to welcome our platinum sponsor, Time.com. May I have the executive director from Time.com, Dato' Zainal Amansyah, to join us on stage. Our gold sponsors, Credit Bureau Malaysia. Let's have the Chief Executive Officer from Credit Bureau Malaysia, Mr. Leong Wing Chun. From CIMB, we'd like to invite Head of SME Banking, KJ Balan. From Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB, we'd like to invite Ms. Christine Yong, Head of Digital Department, ICT Division. From Trust Decision, let's have the Vice President in Fraud Tech International, Mr. Brybov Kondelwa. And from NCT Group, we'd like to invite the Managing Director, Dato' Sri Yap Ngan Choi. From Huawei, Mr. Andy Wei, the Vice President of Huawei Cloud in Malaysia. We'd like to invite the co-founder and Vice President of Wise AI, Mr. Lim Chen Lun. We'd like to say a big thank you to our silver sponsors, and may I have our representative from VS Tax, Mr. Francis, Solution Manager in Cloud and Analytics, VS Tax Berhad, to join us on stage. Ms. Ng Ng, Head of Channel Ecosystem from Alibaba Cloud Malaysia. From Silver Lake, can I have Mr. Trevor Luke, Chief Fermion Ecosystem, Chief Executive Officer of Merriman Fermion, to join us on stage. And let's welcome our bronze sponsors. From Jury's Tag, Ms. Laura San, Head of Marketing and Communications. From Orbit Capital Malaysia, Ms. Andrea Suyar, Partner and Director of Investment, Kejora Capital. From Zamba, we'd like to invite the Director of Zamba, Mr. Gui Chin Hui. Let's have Dato' Paul Wong Boon Ming, Managing Director of Manforce, to join us here. And may I also have our representative from 5 Petroleum, Datuk Sri Dr. King Lim, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of 5 Petroleum. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, ladies, and let's catch a good picture together. All right, lovely picture capture. Or maybe we can have a thumbs up for this beautiful event. And once again, thank you very much for your sponsors and support. One more picture here. Lovely. Thank you. All right, I believe all our media friends have got the picture. Fabulous. All right, and now here, thank you very much for joining us on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Our distinguished guests, you may return to your seat. Continue to enjoy the rest of the morning with us. Thank you.